Hello everybody, thanks again for joining us on our own UCAN YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about knitting. Knitting or learning to knit is one of the things that's in our award pack, and it's a really good fun thing to do. Everybody can learn to knit. It just sometimes takes a little bit of practice to get there. So today I'm going to give you some tips and hints about learning to start to knit. The detailed instructions you should have in with your award pack, but if you haven't got them or you would like to learn how to knit but haven't got our award pack, let us know and we can send out some knitting instructions to you. So what you need first of all to start knitting obviously is some knitting needles and some wool. Now this might seem quite sensible things that you'd need, but actually there's quite specific types of knitting needles and wool that can make your task a little bit easier when you first start to knit. So rather than spend ages showing you exactly how knitting is done, it's probably easier to follow the drawings and illustrations and the instructions that I've put in, but I will give you some basic guidelines here. So knitting can be so much fun. I mean, you can start off just by knitting something like a scarf, and although we're approaching summer, before we know it, and by the time it takes you to knit a scarf, it might actually be into the autumn or the winter, and it's a wee bit chillier and you need a scarf. So now's a good time to get knitting. You might even be able to knit lots of scarves and you can put them all away and have a whole load knitted by the time it gets to Christmas to give to everybody. So knitting is really good fun. Here's a lovely scarf that was knitted a few years ago, and it's made of a really nice bobbly wool. It's all different colours, as you can see. So that was just the wool that was those colours. I didn't have to keep changing colours. It just is this way. And it made a lovely, so you could start something like that where you just make a really simple row of stitches and just basically keep going until you get the scarf the length that you want it. When you're really good at it, you could knit some squares. So when you're good at casting on, knitting and then casting off, you can easily make some squares, and when you join them together it's really nice to make something like a blanket or even a cushion cover. So there's a nice example of this here. If I show you this lovely patchwork blanket which has been made by putting lots and lots of different squares together, you can see them there, and it's made this huge patchwork blanket which is beautiful. It's all different scraps of wool. You can see there's a nice fluffy one there in different colours and things, which is lovely. Okay, they're all joined together. So you could even, when you get really good at it, you might even want to do something like that. But starting with a scarf is a really nice way to get confident with your knitting, because basically you're doing the same thing as you just knit down. So you're not having to change, cast off. Once you cast on, you just keep going until you get to the very end, where obviously you cast off. But it's nice and good fun to do. So what I suggest you do is look for some chunky needles. Now if I just move the camera down, I can show you. I've got some here. So these needles here are really good and chunky. So they're around about a size 8 needles. So you can buy these from Amazon, or you can ask aunties and grannies and mums, and even dads might have some knitting needles, you never know. But some nice chunky ones. You don't want them too chunky, but round about between a size 7, 8, round about that size is just nice enough to start your knitting. And they're easy to handle and easy to work with. And they're big enough and chunky enough that you can catch your stitches really quite easily. The other thing is you need a nice chunky wool. So something like this wool here is really lovely and thick and chunky and easy to work with. So you don't want something that's too thin, because that's going to be really difficult and get entangled in your knitting needles. So something nice and chunky, a double knit or even something chunkier than that is the best way to go. So a nice chunky knit gives you a nice, it's started to knit it up there, and again similar to the scarf that I showed you, this is a wool, as you can see, with lots of different colours in it. So when you knit with it, it's really good fun because you don't quite know what the colours are going to look like, and it's always really exciting to see the patterns and things that you can get. So it's a lot of fun, and you get something which looks really effective really easily and really quickly. Okay, so those are the recommendations I've got. As I say, if any of you do manage to knit anything, perhaps get a scarf made, or even some squares to make into a blanket or something, please do let us know. Send us some pictures in. We'd love to see your efforts. And remember, it is a bit tricky to start off with. The best way is if you have someone in the family who can knit, that can show you. So although you're using your diagrams for ease, having somebody with you to actually guide you along the way, and particularly if you go wrong, to put it right again, is a really good move. But good luck, guys. Remember, perseverance, and hopefully soon when we're back to UCAN and into the autumn, we'll have lots of people wearing lots of really lovely smart scarves that they've made. Okay, well, hope you enjoy having a go, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.